Hey, streaming's live.
What is up? Mr. Oviedo here. First volume of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Got Castle Black, Brian Bruin over there. Wide receiver, room one, Zach. That is the quite a tongue twister of a wide receiver one room. It's like
For sure. For sure. We'll have to find some way to shorten it.
Or just a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
New show here from the Fantasy Holics. Hope to be coming at you once a week from now until maybe the Super Bowl, or as long as we have some listeners. Y'all probably didn't know 6 weeks from today is a Hall of Fame game. I know it's preseason football, but 6 weeks from this very second, there will be football on in some capacity.
I had no idea. It's slowly creeping up upon us.
It's Chargers, Lions. It'll probably suck, but hey, it's better than nothing.
Do you remember, I want to say it was like 3 seasons ago, they put Josh Jacobson in the Hall of Fame game, and everybody lost their mind and thought he was getting cut or demoted. And then I'm almost positive he led the NFL in rushing that season.
I think a ton of Raiders played that first series. I think Derek Carr played. I think Carr was on the Raiders at that point. Josh Jacobs played the whole first half.
That's what I'm saying. I remember people losing their mind.
Crazy. Yeah, I remember that.
The Jacobs thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tonight we'll be starting off with some Dynasty do's and don'ts, Dynasty mantra strategies to live by, because a lot of shows will tell you, hey, you should take draft good players, start good players, use good players, but what and why do we do what we do? Like, drafting players is half the battle, but a strategy, a roadmap, those are really the things that set apart the winners and the losers.
Yeah, it sets your foundation for your team. You really need to know why you're doing and what you're doing it to know who best to draft. If you want to draft rookies, if you should trade those picks, you really need to know how to go about doing it. And I think we'll touch on some great points on how to do that today.
Don't want to end up in the middle.
No,
worst place to be in Dynasty.
I am in the middle in my Dynasty League of record. I was in like 5 or 6 Super Bowls in a row, and I've been stuck in the middle for a solid 6 to 7 years. I can't get rid of the players that brought me there, but now I'm just going down into the grave with Aaron Jones, James Conner, Kirk Cousins. I'm like, just wave and see you later.
I mean, that wasn't even necessarily one of my points I was going to bring up, but it's tough to get rid of those guys. I mean, you really want to, ideally, in a tear down or rebuild, you want to get rid of them, but at the same time, you don't just give them away. If they got to die on your bench for sentimental value, so be it.
Yeah.
But I'm not just handing Aaron Jones to a contender for a 4th round pick or nonsense like that. So.
Yeah, you got to find the right spot to sell them. And it's never in the off season for these old guys because everyone has rookie fever. You really can only sell them for a 4th, maybe a late 3rd. And that's not getting actual value. You're better dying on your bench. Whereas when you start getting win week 1, week 2, sometimes week 4, and you start getting momentum, you want to keep those players, but then maybe they get injured and you start playing better teams. It gets very difficult to find the right time to move those players, unfortunately. And sometimes, you get stuck in the middle because you think you can do it and then you fall a little short, and that happens year to year.
Yeah, I see people asking, like, should I trade this guy now? Should I trade? What's his value? What can I get him for? It's June. What if he has an awesome training camp, coach speak, camp hype, a great first week or two? Wait a sec. Wait a little bit. You can probably get more. June trades, you're probably not going to get full value.
Oh, for sure. These older guys you want to buy in April, May, June, because that's when you're going to get them for your cheapest. You're contending. Now is the time to go out and get these contending pieces. buy them cheap when everyone has rookie fever. When you can get Aaron Jones for a late second, James Conner for a mid-third. Like, mid-third's not going to help you compete. But James Conner will if you can get him that cheap or even a late second. Like, that's what you need to do as a competing team right now, is buy those players when you can get them cheap, and people just want to get them off their roster.
People that are just logging back into their sleeper or their yahoo.com, like, oh, that guy's 29, he sucks, he's done. Is he? You sure about that? He might not be done yet. There's still depth to be had.
I've been hearing Mike Evans has been done for 5 years now, and he's still putting up 1,000-yard seasons. Like, if you bought him for a mid-second 5 years ago when you could have, that's an amazing contending piece versus what might have been.
1,000 yards by the skin of his teeth.
Yes.
On like the last reception of the season last year, I think it was.
Yep.
Baker threw his way 5 or 7 times on one series. I think they were up by 10 or 12, and they probably just went to look at the Saints like, look, this isn't disrespectful. We have to get him his bonus.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it was the record and the boat. It was like a massive payday attached to it on top of the record. Or I guess technically he tied the record with Jerry Rice at the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, but it's not a total record yet. It's a record as in he started his career by doing it. Jerry Rice did not get 1,000 his rookie year. He got like 800 or 900, but then proceeded to do 11 straight from there. So if Evans, I mean, that's more incentive that he should probably get the 1,000 again this year, because then he can say he's alone as the only person that's ever done one of the only Jerry Rice records that's even feasible to break.
Yeah,
the catches, yards, and touchdowns will never be sniffed ever.
Oh, not a chance.
You don't think Mike Evans is going to play till 46 like Jerry Rice did?
That's insane. He's like the Seahawks for like a season or two there. Yeah.
I don't think he ever left the West Coast, though. Raiders,
sure
Niners,
right. I think he did a stint with the Broncos, but I mean, that's still,
he
West
likes
side.
that 425 time slot with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, Brian, what's one of your go-to tried and true dynasty format rules?
So I've just touched on a little bit to start there, but be all in or be all out. There's no, I mean, you can be stuck in the middle, you can stay in between, but I always like to refer to the later to mid 2000s Philadelphia 76ers back when I used to pay more attention to basketball. So they were great with the Iverson years. They went to the finals in 2001. Iverson won an MVP, a couple scoring titles. And then when he left, it was the Andre Iguodala-led very mid 76ers for a lot of years there. And they would always either be the 8th seed in the playoffs or the lowest team in the lottery. And they could never get anybody big to step in. And they just lived in complete obscurity for 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And that's just kind of just where my brain goes about being stuck in the middle in Dynasty, because if you're going to, in the startup, push in and try to win that year one title, then go all in, draft Derrick Henry and James Conner and Devontae Adams and all those pieces that you can get on the cheap in the startup because of their age, and just go all the way in. I don't want to say sell your draft capital right off the rip in the startup or like early in the off season, because I'd like to wait and see that I'm actually competing and all these old people didn't get hurt on me, because now that pick might be a mid to early one. And, that's something I don't like to do until I'm either at the trade deadline, or a lot of my leagues don't even have a trade deadline. So I can, wait till the playoffs even start and I'm actually in the playoffs. Then I'll start selling off, the draft capital. But just go all in. And on the other side of the token, if you're going to, try to go young and like sell some of your startup picks, get as many first rounders as possible. Just get quarterbacks. Do like a little quarterback and draft pick horde. You're trying to get last place, or you're trying to get lowest max points, or just, finish whatever your league's rules are to get the 101. Get as many other people's first as possible and just keep those points off your roster. I've never seen it fail. In the years I've been playing Dynasty, as long as the league doesn't fall apart and fold, if you have a ton of draft capital and young quarterbacks and young receivers and you punt year one, even maybe year two, you will dominate that league in 2 or 3 years. You have to almost try to not. It's some of the most juggernaut teams that I could bring up. They all did that. They all punted year one.
Yep.
It's a little tough, This year, you get a little mocking from other people in the league, people talking shit, saying, this guy's doesn't even know what he's doing. Look, he doesn't even have a good running back one. Well, no shit. I don't want Derrick Henry on my team for the future, But that's probably the cornerstone of how I think about Dynasty is, pick your direction and get there. Like, don't dick around. Don't take Derrick Henry and then go, oh, well, now I have to draft a rookie wide receiver to balance that. No, take, Devontae Adams or whatever. Like, it's just all in one way or the other, man. That's huge for me.
Yeah, that's a great point. I know some people who are rebuilding and they're like trading their seconds because, well, I don't have a starting running back, or I need a running back. I need a wide receiver. It's like, no, you don't need to start anyone.
You don't need shit.
I had a league where 2 seasons ago, I was starting Ty Chandler when he was the 3rd string running back because that was my best running back because I traded all my assets, but that gave me a better picks. I didn't need to buy running backs because running backs, you want to look at them maybe a 2 or 3 year window, and I wasn't ready to compete, so I didn't want to touch that. Values are better insulated in quarterbacks and wide receivers. That I'm not selling my second for a running back just so I can say I have a running back on my team. Like, get all out or all in. Like, don't. That's a great point. The only time I'm okay having a mid team is when my team is young and upcoming. Like, when you're coming out of that rebuild, oftentimes you're stuck in the middle for a year or two. Like, I got a league where I'm starting Genty, Harvey, Odunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., Hampton. Like, I'm excited for this team, but I expect it to be mid this year because sometimes a lot of these rookies, it takes 4, 5, 6 games for them to start to take off. That I expect to lose 3, 4 of the first 6 games, but then take off and maybe get into the playoffs. But yeah, you really need to go all in or out because staying mid just does nothing. You don't get a good draft pick, you don't get good draft capital, but you're also not really doing anything in the playoffs. You gotta do one or the other.
Yeah, and when that old team gets old and retired, and then you're gonna suck for a couple. And then when your old team retires, you're getting like top 3 picks every year. So
yeah.
All right, Zach, what's your dynasty mantra?
We touched a little on my first one. It's kind of I call it know when to hold them and when to fold them. Know when you need to hold your guys and know when you need to sell your guys. Like, and right now we're in the midst of rookie fever. You're having people really trying to get into late seconds or mid second just to get their guy, and they're giving up a chunk for it. I just made a trade in a league where I gave up my 204 for 26 first and second because a guy really wanted Matthew Golden. I'm not passing up getting a first and second for my 204. It's that rookie fever when the next year comes along. Even if that's a late first, I got a late first and second for Golden. That's great. And if it's earlier, like that's an amazing trade. But I'm know when to trade your guys and know when to hold them. Like now is not the time to trade your older guys, and now is the time to hold them because you're not going to get good value for them. Know when your players are starting to decline, especially if your leagues don't have trade deadlines. That's becoming more and more popular from what I'm seeing, is if you're getting out of the playoffs, leverage those older guys, give them to those guys who are competing so you can at least get some more value out of them. And just know where the value's at. Don't just trade to trade. Don't just, my guy's getting old, I need to get rid of him. Like, know when to trade those guys. Dynasty is all about year-round success, not just success 4 weeks, 5 weeks, playoffs. You need to be doing things year-round and knowing when you need to be trading who.
I love that trade for that Golden trade, dude. That's wonderful. I mean, like, even as you're saying it out loud, I'm like, Jesus. So you sold the 204 for a future 2 and a first.
Yeah.
Like, even if Golden has a pretty solid year, he might be worth a late first, but he's still probably going to be in that high 2 range.
Yeah.
So dude just handed you a free first round pick, and you now have avoided the shot that even if Golden was the guy you were going to take, there's an absolute chance that he sucks and fails or gets hurt. So, you know what I mean? You've averted all the risk. That's a great one. It wasn't in my mantra or anything, but draft picks don't get DUIs. They don't tear Achilles. They don't, slap their girlfriend. They don't take PEDs. They just sit on your bench. They don't take up roster spots. It's the only thing on Sleeper where there's an unlimited stack of them. You can have as many damn draft picks as you want. You can only have a certain amount of positions, though, or, roster spots. So, yeah, draft picks don't lose value. They never have. They just, from the time they hit your little bank in Sleeper or ESPN or whatever you play, they just gain value. It's one of people underrate the hell out of draft picks until rookie season when everybody wants Matthew Golden. And that guy obviously doesn't value draft picks because he just threw a free first round pick at you for, but yeah, savvy move there.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, draft picks gain value. And that's, again, now's the time to buy 26 draft picks, 27 draft picks, because all they're going to do is gain value as they come along. When the hype next offseason comes along of, oh, I want this rookie or I need this rookie and I need to get that, they're just going to gain value.
That
so now's the time to be.
Draft is going to be pretty awesome unless people stay in school. It's going to be the Jeremiah Smith draft, probably, maybe Arch Manning. I think Arch stays for one more year, but the 2026 draft, if you can get those picks now before anybody's too keen on the prospects, now might be a really good time to get those.
See, I'm hearing the opposite. I'm hearing people stock up on 2027, 2026 drafts, push back at 2027 because that's people are expecting Archie Manning to come out in 2027. That's when people are expecting Jeremiah Smith. That's when all these big players are coming out in 27 is pushed to then. And I'm seeing people try and get those picks now. Like they're trading late first for a 2027 first now just to get ahead of that game because they're expecting that draft to be so good that if anything, that means buy your 2026 picks because if people aren't valuing those as much, those are going to gain even more value next offseason.
Maybe I meant 27. I think maybe the next 2 years are going to be really good.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of rookie fever, draft picks, that we had a couple of signings this week that kind of threw a cold shower on that rookie fever. We had J.K. Dobbins signing in Denver, which completely torpedoed the R.J. Harvey hype. We've got Cam Akers going to the Saints, which kind of sort of derailed the Devin Neal hype. I don't know how much hype a third round, day 3 running back could get. And we got Nick Chubb going to the Texans. That might squash some of the Joe Mixon value. Any of those running backs making you question the starting role of Harvey, Kamara, Joe Mixon, any of that?
I think the one that stands out the most to me would be the Dobbins signing, just because they gave him decent money. He actually looked pretty solid last year, was able to stay generally healthy for J.K. Dobbins, I guess. But they gave him like $5 million or something like that, which for running backs is a pretty big contract. I don't think we should look at Harvey that much less valuable. I think it just makes it pretty clear that it's going to be a 2 to 3 man split more so than a 2 or maybe even a 4 man split as opposed to 3. I still obviously value Harvey far, head and shoulders above the other running backs there. I think as we all should. One thing to touch on with that though is he's older. He's 24 already. So he's one of those running backs where he might only have his one deal. By the time he's ready for his second contract, he's 28, whatever the case. Yeah. So obviously if he comes out and he smashes and shines, they're either going to pay him or somebody's going to pay him. But just a little side note with Harvey that, if he loses year 1 to like a big split, he might not have his shot at being a workhorse until he's 25. And, still like him, still think he's worth taking pretty high in rookie drafts and all that, but
Yeah.
I think that one probably carries the most weight. Akers, I think, just more or less gives us a more clear handcuff to to Kamara. Clearly, Kendra Miller. I couldn't even think of his name because the guy that never sniffs the field, but I don't think he's a threat at all.
No.
Neal, people that pay more attention to scouting and college ball than me seem to like Neal, but even they're all saying now that he's probably an afterthought if they're bringing Akers in, who's pretty proven vet. He looked pretty good last year in some smaller spots with the Vikings. So I think that's probably second most to me. And I think Chubb might just be toast, man. He had that brutal injury even before he got hurt again last year. His numbers were just by far the worst of his career. Like, he wasn't even getting 4 a carry, where Nick Chubb's always been that 5 yards, fantastic runner. So I think that's probably the least impactful. I don't really drop Mixon at all in value with that move.
Yeah, for me, Harvey doesn't drop in value at all for me. I mean, we knew they were going to bring someone in there to kind of help take the workload off him. I never expected him to be a bell cow back, but I expect him to be a good 2-down back who's going to get you some great yardage. Dobbins coming in there just means I expect Harvey to potentially be less injury prone. Like, it's not going to be all the carries going to him, a 3-down back. He's not going to be on the field 95% of the time, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for running backs to not be on the field as much. So for me, Harvey doesn't drop in value much at all. Akers, for me, that doesn't affect Neal's value at all. I still have Devin Neal as a mid to late second in value right now. I think with Kamara's age getting up there, with him potentially being injury prone, I think Akers is more there in case of injuries than anything. Like, I don't think Kendra Miller is trustworthy at all at this point. I have leagues where he's already been dropped, and if I had him, he's on the top of my drop list. Yeah, exactly. So I think Akers came in just to kind of help insulate as a third running back, and he might start off as number 2, but I think Neal will kind of take over soon enough there. And yeah, I think Chubb is toast. I think after that injury, that brutal injury, I think that and his age are just kind of unfortunately killer for him.
All right. 2 more vet names that will be signed before the start of the season that will probably shake up some depth charts. Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper. They've got to sign somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think they're locks to be on a roster somewhere. I think the Steelers probably make the most sense for one of them, just because Aaron Rodgers would probably like more than one person to throw the ball to, and it's the ghost of Robert Woods and never even sniffed the field yet, Roman Wilson, and who the hell else did they bring? Is it Van Jefferson still there? No, I think he might be on the Titans. Calvin Austin. But I mean, it would just make so much sense to have Allen or Cooper just show up there right in time for traditional training camp. Cooper did. I'm about to pull up some numbers on Keenan Allen here, but Cooper did nothing. Like, he got to Buffalo and he was. I don't know if it was just a bad fit, or they just didn't know how to use him, or he was hurt or toast or whatever. But Cooper's prior year, he was putting up smash games with Joe Flacco. I mean, he had that. I think one of the playoff weeks, he had like a 45-point, like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns or something crazy. Like, got people advanced in the playoffs. But so, I mean, I guess there's still some hope for Amari Cooper. But I'm just pulling up Keenan Allen's numbers for the last season. He had some stats with the Bears last year, so I think Keenan Allen, his role ages great. Like, he's that big body possession receiver, safety blanket. So he should absolutely be on a team somewhere.
Yeah,
what did he do last year?
I expect Keenan Allen to do things. I think Caleb Williams was still getting into his own rookie year. I think a lot of Keenan Allen's decline in stats was Caleb Williams based. Like, I live in Illinois. I watch the Chicago's every week, unfortunately. And it was an offensive struggle with Caleb Williams. And I think Keenan Allen has juice left in the tank that he might not sign, during the off season. He might not sign during training camp. But come week 4 or 5, when a wide receiver goes down, maybe the Cowboys, when Pickens goes down, or Lamb had that injury, some team that's trying to make a playoff push, if he would be a perfect plug and play, like the Steelers as well. Whereas Cooper, I expected giant things from the Bills for him. Like I saw him going for late firsts as soon as he got traded to the Bills.
Yeah.
And then
his controller came unplugged, and he did nothing.
He had one game of over 5 targets, one game over 75 yards, no games of multiple touchdowns. Like Cooper he looked terrible. Whereas I think Keenan Allen is going to be very interesting to where he signs, and I think he's going to be a great asset to a competing team.
I'd love to see Allen on the 49ers. I think that would be chef's kiss.
His numbers last year, he had 70 catches. Keenan Allen, that is, he had 70 catches for 744 and 7 touchdowns. And then I was just looking at his game log. He had some nice games. I mean, they were spread out. It was a tough. He had a 4 of 5 week run, so from week 12 to week 16. So some playoff games there. He had wide receiver 5, 4, 14, and wide receiver 2 finishes. So big games. A lot of duds, a lot of wide receiver 60s and 70s in that earlier in the season as well. But he gave you some pop weeks in the towards the playoffs and in the playoffs. So Keenan Allen still got it. He can go be a target hog or just a safety blanket somewhere. So I have a lot more faith in him than Cooper to do something this year. But I think both of them have a 0% chance of not being on an NFL team this year.
Yeah, and that's a great point. If you could trust him at that point, or if you needed to trust him for your fantasy playoffs, he delivered.
Yeah.
I don't care if I make it into the playoffs. I don't care what a wide receiver does or a player does in weeks 1 to 10. If they can deliver once I get to the playoffs, that has incredible value. That Keenan Allen you can get for I don't know. Can you get him off waivers? Can you get him for a 4th or a 5th right now as a competing team? And if you're looking and seeing, he got 4, 15, 20 plus point games for you in the playoffs, that if you can keep him on your bench, wait till he's going to get those good matchups and plug and play him, like that is incredible value that you can get for your fantasy team of finding these players that no one else wants that have some juice left.
Keenan Allen is 88% owned on Sleeper. So it's unlikely, but maybe go like to your phone like right now. Is Keenan Allen available? that would be something.
He's a nice grab in startup drafts too right now because have 2 startups going, and I mean I think we're into like the 20s, and he didn't get round 20 or so, and he didn't get picked yet. So at that point in a startup, even if you're pushing towards win later or drafting a lot of youth, just draft Keenan Allen in round 20 because you'll be able to, the second he starts catching passes on a decent team, you'll be able to sell him for a lot more than what a 20th round startup pick usually goes for.
Oh yeah. That 20th round, you're just getting players that can potentially play on your roster, ones that have upside. And Keenan Allen is one of those perfect ones in the later rounds that's being slept on, that you can get cheap, that you can sell for later on, or you can use just to make that playoff push that you need to win. Because that's what we're here for Dynasty Football. It's not just all about youth. It's about winning. And those are some great players to help you win.
I just checked on one of these said startups. Now this one, we'll bring this up in a little bit with diversifying on a portfolio, but I have 2 startups going right now. One of them I leaned in towards winning, and the other one I drafted a bunch of quarterbacks. I bought someone else's 26 first already. But I'm in round 23, it looks like. No, sorry, round 22, pick 2. And I'm pretty sure Keenan Allen is on the board here, and I'm going to take him. Let's see. Somebody take him yet. Amari Cooper's still there. Yeah, Keenan Allen's there. Boom, drafted. Round 22.2.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to diversify, but you always kind of like go into a draft like, okay, I'm going to draft different. I'm going to take different players. I'm going to take different players. In round 3, I'm like, no, I don't like him. He burned me. He sucks. He's not good. He's not in a good position. He's going to lose snaps. He's going to lose targets. Like, I try to diversify, but it's tough. It's really tough.
For reference, what I just drafted Keenan Allen over here, the top 3 players in sleeper ADP that were on the board here were Troy Franklin, Kendre Miller, who we just discussed, and Spencer Rattler. So
Oh,
I'll take
no.
Keenan Allen over those three,
Easily.
regardless what my build looks like.
Easily.
That's a free Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. No, I love the idea of diversifying, especially when you get in 4, 5, 6 leagues, of making sure all your eggs aren't in one basket. That, come, what was it? I'm gonna go back into the mid 2000s when Tom Brady got his knee injured game 1 or game 2. I remember going into redraft leagues that the top 2 picks that year were LaDainian Tomlinson and Tom Brady. And I had multiple picks as number 1 or 2. And I got Tom Brady in 4 or 5 leagues, and that killed me. Like, diversifying in fantasy is definitely important. Now, for me, I put an asterisk on that where I tend not to diversify with my rookies, at least when I draft them, because I try and find those rookies that are going to gain value. Like if I have an option where, between Matthew Golden and Trey Harris right now, I'm taking Trey Harris 10 times out of 10, even if I have him in 9 other leagues, because I don't trust Matthew Golden to succeed. Whereas I think Trey Harris is going to have a giant jump in value. And so come mid-season, come next season, I'm going to sell a chunk of my Trey Harris stock, and I'm going to diversify then. But it's, for me, during rookie season, I'm getting those players that I think will really jump in value, and then trading those off. And especially in the second range. In the first range, I try and diversify a little more in rookies. But in that second range, anything is, as much as people like to think anything is game in that second range, even an early second, a mid-second, it's anyone's guess at that point. And I'm sticking with those players that I trust will succeed, and then diversifying later to increase the value that my team has.
I'm with you there. If you believe in a guy, draft him up. I do try to diversify if it's guys that I don't have real strong feelings for. Like in that range that you're talking about, I feel like Golden does tend to go first out of that group, but I'd see a lot of Higgins, Harris, Besh really are like that always just right there. They're all like the first one goes and then the next 2 almost always go. With those 3, I don't have a super strong feeling on them. So like I have gone Harris, Higgins, Harris, like in 3 rookie drafts just to make sure I'm not, going all heavy on the one. But yeah, I think with the where I have a stronger feeling like that is with those earlier running backs where after Genty and Hampton go, people seem to kind of be flip-flopping between Henderson, Judkins, Harvey, I guess in some cases. Some people really like Caleb. I think my gut tells me that Henderson's in the best situation to succeed. I love the pass catching. I love his pass pro. I like that he's on the young offense. I just have my gut tells me that Henderson's the one to own in that group. So I have infinitely more shares of Henderson now than I do of those guys. So I'm with you on that. But yeah, the diversifying for me, I much more meant like just overall contending teams and rebuilding teams. I don't want to have all. I literally play in around, I didn't do a count recently, but like 60 leagues. So I try to keep it somewhat balanced, and my older one's aging out. I've got some monster young contenders coming up, and just keep the cycle rolling.
He's setting up franchises.
Exactly.
Man, I don't know why I'm so blurry. I guess it's just gonna be like this.
I don't know if it's like a filter though.
It's like I was eliminated from around the horn. I'm just like
it does look like that.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because it's clearly like it's not off time or like a bad connection. It's like a filter almost.
I moved my hand in front of the lens and it hasn't recovered since.
Yeah, it's not focusing on your face. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good thing.
But your connection's perfectly fine. Like your timing's right. Everything's right. It's almost like you have an Instagram filter on or something like that.
Yeah.
The face for radio.
There you go.
Yep.
Got some people hanging out. Jamie Parag, good friend of the show's got a good IDP podcast hanging out there. Doing Jamie and Jimmy Ricketts. I don't know what Frank it means, but maybe that's a Frank it? What could Frank it mean?
Is it a Ryan Frank reference? I don't know. That would mean
When you made the the big Lebowski, yeah, that was it. It's Kendry Miller's fault. Damn you, Kendry Miller.
Yeah.
Maybe if I do it'll reset it.
Reset.
It worked.
Holy shit!
Wow.
That has to be some kind of feature on your camera or on.
That's crazy.
That is awesome. Thank you, Big Lebowski.
Wow.
Lebowski, you're gonna get a prize of some kind from the prize.
Seriously, that's amazing. And don't do the scissors thing again unless you want to blur yourself out. Apparently.
Nope. Not gonna do that again.
Nope.
Wow.
So we've given our two of our dynasty mantras. What about you?
Oh man,
What you got?
Yours were better.
Each their own.
A lot of times I see people like, oh, I have a 212 or 310. It's such a dart throw. Those picks up. Parlay all of your late picks into earlier picks. And it's like not a lot of people think of doing that. So if you have 210, 110, 210, 310, take all of those. Someone in your league will buy. Not everybody zig, not everybody zags. 110, 210, and 310 could probably get you 1-5. Move up in this draft and get maybe a second next year. Like if you don't like draft picks, if you don't like dart throws, take all of your picks in 1 year, do the old Ricky Williams RG3 move and swing for the fences. If you don't, a lot of people like Brian love to have as many draft picks as you can in sleeper, but you don't have to take dart throws if you don't want dart throws. If you might think, oh, I only have 110, that sucks. No, if you can trade all of your picks to move up into that range, and that's what will keep you a winner and out of the middle.
Yeah, find that tier you want to move up into. If it's you trade your 210 and 310 for the 207, then you trade the 207 and your future second for the 202 or 203, and then all of a sudden that 210 and 310 became a better tier of player that you want, or move your 110 and 210 for the 107, maybe the 106, and then pair a future first and try to go after the 101 or your future second to move up 2 or 3 slots. Like find that tier break that you want to get on the back end of, and you can manipulate things incredibly well with your picks to all of a sudden make those dart throws that much more accurate for what you want. It just takes multiple trades. It takes patience, but you can get it done.
And I hate trading. I do not trade at all. I've probably made 20 trades in 25 years of fantasy football, but I know people love trading. We're here to help. If you pile up all those late picks that feel like they're for nothing, there are Zach's and Brian's. There will be like the Brian that wants all the picks he can want, but then Zach's like, no, I just want that first round. I'll give you my whole draft for 1-5. That's a good move.
Yeah.
So when just recently with, obviously with how many leagues I have, I've been in a ton of rookie drafts already. So many times I have used those late seconds, mid to late thirds to be able to move up just even a spot or two or multiple spots. Like I'm a whore for quarterbacks. All my leagues are super flex. I want 8 quarterbacks on my roster if I can, because I know I can flip them. I know they're going to keep value. So I like Cam Ward a lot. He grew on me a good bit this offseason. I love that he was the first pick. I love that, he's going to have a long leash. He's got a little mobility. He's got a big arm. Like him a lot. But I was able in so many leagues where I was picking later in the draft, 109, 108, even some like championship contenders and winners will pick 11, pick 12, where I had some seconds and thirds left where I'm sitting on the clock at 109 or 110 and Cam Ward fell to 105 or 106 even. And I'm like, hey, let me just shoot a message or a trade over to that owner. And I was able to move from 109 or 110 to 106 and get 105 and get Cam Ward. And it cost me a second because That guy was set at quarterback. He was looking at that range of like Judkins, Caleb, maybe Tet was on the board, whatever the case. But a lot of people see that middle first as like kind of one lump tier. They don't even have a guy. So that guy looked at it like, hey, sure, I'll take your 109 and still get one of those guys and got a second along with it, or a future third or a future second or whatever it was. And I was amazed how easily I was able to slide up rookie drafts all this past 2 months and pick up guys that I love, guys like Henderson, guys like Ward. I did that for a move to get Tet on a team that was a really good looking team but just really needed some youth at wide receiver. And the picks are the best, man. Stack them up. Like I said, it's the only thing on Sleeper or any platform where there's no limit on it. You could own an entire – I've seen guys own an entire first round of a rookie draft before where they were a rebuild and they just did it. They pulled it off and they owned an entire first round of a rookie draft.
Yeah.
Do it, man. They're never going to lose value. They're never going to get hurt. I can't preach it enough, man. Picks are gold.
Yeah. There's rookie fever and there's people that just hate rookie picks. You got to find the rookie pick hater. You got to
find that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
How do you hate the draft? I mean, that's like an appreciating asset, not an old injured player that's burned you before. Like, no, these rookies haven't burned you yet.
Yeah. I know those people who hate rookie picks for that reason of, well, they haven't proved anything. They're all just potential. So they could fail. They probably drafted Treylon Burks a few too many times, Quentin Johnston, like these players that just you spent an early to mid first on, and they just flopped in value. You're Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Like at one point, back years in Dynasty football, Marcus Mariota was going at the 1-2 turn in startup drafts, and look what happened to him. Justin Fields used to be the 107 to 110 in rookie drafts or in startup drafts. Like those people who tend to hate those rookie picks got burned a few too many times by drafting these type of players early, that you can benefit off that and move up or give them a player that you think is going to start falling in value and get that rookie that's going to change your team.
Absolutely.
We had a couple of them on the Fantasy Holics page, man. I just brought up Ryan Frank. That's my guy. He if you force him to pull the trigger on a rookie pick, that rookie is on the trade block before the rookie draft even ends. And he would much rather have taken your old running back for that pick before he even had to pull the trigger on the pick. But my man always has competitive teams. I will never sit here and say there's a right or a wrong way to do it. If that's how you roll and you're winning money and you're winning titles, fuck them picks then, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Just send them my way. We could have a beautiful symbiotic relationship there.
Yep.
Many ways to skin a cat.
Yeah. That kind of goes to my second Dynasty mantra that is all about trades for values. I hate seeing posts for people saying, hey, did I win this trade? Did I win this trade? Well, tell me about your team. Are you competing? Right. Are you rebuilding? What's the context? Yeah. Like, I don't care if you won or lost the trade. Like, if me winning a Dynasty championship come the trade deadline is between a mid-second or not, I'm getting rid of that mid-second every day, even if I'm giving a mid-second for Keenan Allen. Like, if that's going to win me my Dynasty championship, who's not going to give a mid-second to win your championship? Or if it's a late, or, come the season, trade deadline's coming up, Derrick Henry, he's valued at a late first. I'm giving a mid-first to him, mid-first for him. I'm overpaying for him so that he's on my team to compete. In reality, that's the difference of a late second, mid-second, maybe an early second versus value versus what I'm paying for him. But that's worth winning. Like, don't get caught up in, did I win this trade? Did I lose this trade? Get caught up in the true value of Dynasty assets. Like, what is the value to your team? How much are you willing to pay for that championship? And that's what matters. It doesn't matter how much you give up if you win that championship. Like, make that happen.
They don't remember who comes in second. Maybe the Super Bowl loser, but yeah, they don't remember.
One way to look at, what's it worth to win a championship is in most of my leagues, or the leagues that I set up and commission and do the payouts and everything, I generally have it set up that if you win the title, you get, it ends up being like 9 times your buy-in. So you're literally getting 9 seasons for free by winning a title. And that's maybe some leagues it's 8 years, whatever, but it's usually right around there.
Yeah.
So I mean, look at it like that. If you win a title, pay everything, whatever, give up a first or two to get guys like Derrick Henry and George Kittle and dudes that are going to smash in the playoffs and win you a title, you have 8 or 9 free seasons after that to tear it down, build back up, and then you could be winning another title 4 years into that. And then you have 2 titles in 4 years. Now you've got 18 seasons paid for, 16, 17 seasons paid for just by winning those 2 titles. So, I mean, I love the game. I love doing it for shit talking and camaraderie and stuff like this, but I also like fucking having a whole shitload of money in my league safe account. Like I just keep getting more startups because I still have a fuck ton of money in league safe from titles I won last year.
There's no gambling hotline for the winners, that's for sure.
I really do keep this as my only form of gambling. Like I don't bet on games. I will throw like $5 on like a parlay every Sunday, but that's legitimately fantasy football. Dynasty is the only gambling I do.
Same here.
Yep.
I don't even buy lottery tickets.
Nope.
When the jackpot gets up to like near $1 billion, I'll throw in $1 or $2.
If someone at work brings it up, if somebody's like, "We're going to do that thing where everybody puts in $10," and I'll give them the $10, but haven't won yet, so I'm still going to work tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah.
So I guess another point I wanted to bring up, you just touched on a bit, bringing up guys like Derrick Henry, is how I handle the running back position in Dynasty. Is I legitimately look at it in like a 1-year window. Like a guy like Genty or Gibbs or Bijan, guys that are super high value, super young. Sure, I look at them as more than like a 1-year investment, but really like everything down below them, I look at it as like rotating assets. Because I might win a title with those guys and then I'm looking to move off of them in a year. Or I had a team that I thought was a contender and it got to midseason and started shitting the bed and had a bunch of injuries. And now I'm going into tank mode. I'm flipping those guys to contenders for whatever I can get for them, for a younger back, for a receiver, for a second, or whatever the case. So I legitimately look at running backs in like a 1-year window. I don't want them on rebuilders at all. Like, perfect example. You said you had that team you were rolling out like Ty Chandler and whatever the case. I'll follow the league rules. I'll put an active starting lineup out there. But I don't even want running backs on those teams because of just how I feel about them. So they're in a huge, important part of your winning teams. They're awesome. They're fun. They're, having a stud running back can win you a week all the time. In leagues that have points per carry bonuses, they're well more valuable than receiver, at least on, that week in that season. You look at any type of like wins over replacement player chart in points per carry leagues, running backs dominate. They are higher win over replacement than receivers. But even in those leagues, they're 1-year rentals for me, man. It's the way the NFL works anymore. And I try not to get too attached or tied up to them, but I rotate them out in and out, man, as much as possible.
With that being said, last year really gave us one of the biggest years that I can remember on like running backs that got that second contract and smashed. It was Barkley, Jacobs, Henry, so like James Conner was so relevant. Yeah. Usually you can write off a player, a running back, as soon as they get that second contract, but not last year. It was like, how do you just ride into the sunset with the Barkley, Henry players? Do you give up? Like, how long are they going to last? Like, typically you're bailing on someone that age, but last year brought us a whole slew of running backs that don't typically perform at that age.
I look at it completely based on the build of that team. If I have a team that has Barkley, Connor, Mixon, Henry, those guys, I'm looking at it, right back to my first point, go all in or go all out. This time of the year, rookie draft season, I am doing a deep dive, a full analysis, being honest with myself about what that roster looks like. If I'm saying, okay, this could compete again this year, then Barkley's not packing his bags, man. He's riding with me. But if I look at that team and go, okay, I got lucky and got that title last year, but it's looking a little rickety, a little, not deep enough. I lost a quarterback or whatever the case, then yeah, I'm absolutely looking to send those guys to another contending team. So yeah, it's completely build based for me. But I assess them, I guess is a better way to put it. I assess my running back room every year, multiple times a year. If I have a shot to win, whether that's I think I have a shot to win in week 1 or week 4 or 5, I'm winning and in the playoffs, or I'm about to be in the playoffs, then yeah, give me the running backs. I'll pay up for them. I'll make it happen. But the second it looks like I'm not winning, if it's not a super young, talented running back, they can go. Give me draft picks. Give me receivers. Give me quarterbacks.
Yeah, and that I think goes into what we talked about earlier about now is the time to buy those players. Like I'm just thinking Derrick Henry last offseason. I was seeing people decline the 201, 202, saying I'd rather pick there than have Derrick Henry. Barkley was going for a late first last season. Like those people who bought those players during the offseason, during rookie fever, are the ones holding the championship right now because they took advantage of these players that people were writing off. Like how many years have we written off Derrick Henry because he's getting old, or James Conner, even Aaron Jones, like these older running backs that people are like tossing away for pennies as to what their value is on a competing team. Buy them up now. Like those, it's a great 1-year rental. I think that's a great way to put it for these older running backs. Like it's a 1-year rental, sure, but honestly, as much as someone loves a late first and early second, even that's not guaranteed. Like, and if you're competing, who in the late first range, early second range this year is going to help you compete versus if you can get Derrick Henry for a late first,
right,
or Mike Evans for an earlier mid-second. Like none of these players in that range in your rookie drafts are going to help you compete as those players. Like use those picks to your advantage and yeah, get those running backs.
Yeah, you could be buying those aforementioned guys like Barkley, Jacobs, Henry, Aaron Jones. Jonathan Taylor and McCaffrey might be entering that conversation now. They're getting older. McCaffrey's breaking down. Taylor might be getting there. You could get like league-winning running backs for a second, maybe, or a late first for a second.
Yeah,
I apply that thinking to startups as well. As far as like, I don't give a shit that they're 31 or 30 or 29. I look at them as those are high-end competitive running backs that could help me win a title that year. So if I'm drafting a team in a dynasty league and it's looking like, okay, it's more on the contender side. Maybe it's younger, but it's looking like it could compete year one. And I'm on the clock and it's like Derrick Henry or I don't know, RJ Harvey, for example. No, I'm not going, well, RJ Harvey's way younger and blah, blah. No, I'm saying if I could win the title year one, I want Derrick fucking Henry as my RB on that team and not the hope of RJ Harvey. Or I don't want to be like, well, he is 24. That's a lot sexier than 31. No, I want Derrick Henry and his 1,800 yards and 23 touchdowns on that team. And you know what? If the end of the year comes around, I'll get off of Derrick Henry and, celebrate what he helped me win. Like I totally view you don't have, you can do whatever you want, but I look at running backs that way. I churn and burn, man. What have you done for me lately? What can you do for me right now? I'm not worried about what they're doing a year and a half or 2 years from now whatsoever.
Yeah. And I think so many people are afraid that if you buy Derrick Henry or last offseason, buy a Barkley, you buy a James Conner, that next season the value is going to go down. And they're like, well, I'm going to lose value on them. Whereas someone like Harvey or Henderson or Johnson, their value could go up. So why would I buy someone whose value could go down? But in reality, the value of a Barkley or a Henry going down next offseason is made up for in the fact of the value you get from them helping you compete, from helping you win that championship. Like that, I don't care if that player's value is going to go down next season. If that's going to be the difference between me in 4th place or 6th place versus 1st or 2nd, like that value that player gives me is so much better that I don't care if they drop from a mid-1st to a mid-2nd in one season, if I can get that championship, if that'll help.
People don't want to win a trade for like a couple weeks. They want to win the trade for the entirety of that player's career. Like, remember when I stole that guy and then he got hurt and he sucked? They want to brag about that trade for the rest of the players' life.
To quote legendary Eagles defensive back and Jets head coach Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. You want the money. You want the bragging rights. The hope of 3 years from now from some running back is irrelevant. The guy that's pounding through the goal line and getting you, 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns, that wins you money. That wins you the bag. So, let's not forget what the goal is here. It's cool to do the long haul and the rebuild thing, and to be able to say I got all these young guys, and look at the average age of my team's 23. All right, that's cool. That's impressive. But how much money have you won? How many times have you won this league? Let's remember what we're doing here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that was a good start to Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I had fun. Hopefully
I think we're like right on the hour mark too, right?
Yeah, right on an hour. Had a little technical difficulties when I was waving my hand in front of the camera, which I won't do again. But it was a good time, good start to the program. Hopefully we'll bring you some good stuff for the next couple weeks. Hopefully we got your brain flowing on some trade ideas, trade proposals, roster building, roster construction that will help you the rest of the way. Drafts should be starting in the next couple weeks, and dynasty rosters should be open pretty much year round. So hopefully we gave you some ideas and insights on trade offers to throw out there and strategies to work on the next couple weeks.
Yeah. And don't forget to look at some of our stuff. You have our dynasty rankings on our Fantasy Holic website. You have our articles. There's some great article there about Travis Hunter, different wide receivers to look out for, and quarterbacks to look out for this year, as well as a lot of different individual player analysis by a lot of our team members. Have any other questions, send it to us on our Fantasy Holics Facebook account. Like, we'll gladly talk about so much fantasy football that we could talk your ear off with all of us. Like, we do that all day. So if you have any questions, if you want to follow up, if you're want to give us some feedback, please, we'd love to hear it. And we have so much more information available that we'll keep pumping it out for you.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, do us a favor, hit a little stone cold stunner on that like button, share it, let people know. Doesn't cost a thing. Doesn't cost a penny. Throw us a share if you like what you see, man. We'll give you lots more good content going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, good start for Brian, for Zach, Ms. Rovia. We'll see you same time next week. Have a good one.
Deuces.
Peace.